Hello everyone, it's Jim Okerzinski with this week's lecture video. So as we prepare to move into the first draft and peer reviewing phase for SA4, I have received quite a few emails asking specific questions about the process. So here I am. I'm going to begin in the Google Drive instructions for SA4, posted in the modules section here in Canvas. I will acknowledge that this was a little bit different than what was in the learning material posted in their Drive account. I had made some changes to simplify the process here while creating the module. I neglected, and that's my bad, to change the Drive, the learning materials in the Drive folder, but that has been corrected in the Drive folder in the learning materials. So if you've uploaded according to the learning materials in Drive, that's fine, but I was looking to streamline the process here. So I am looking for the first draft of the cover letter, the peer review report, and the final draft of the cover letter. And then I'm looking for the 2 revised essays. All right. So please label them. Your last name, revised essay 1, revised essay 2. That way I know exactly what to expect when I open up those documents. Now I'm going to talk about the revision plan, and I've gotten several emails about the revision plan. And I want to stress that this is a tool. That's why it's not included in any of the submission requirements in Canvas here. So just let's hop over to the learning materials. Here, as you can see, the Drive instructions have been revised here. Let me see if I can get to the assignment here. All right, so I'm getting several emails about the second portion of the cover letter. Now, the first portion, where everyone talks about revision over the semester, is pretty straightforward, but there seems to be a little bit of confusion about the second portion. So let me clarify. And the example that is posted in the module in Canvas is pretty focused on what was revised in each of the 2 essays. All right. Now I want at least some guidance of what you are going to revise or what you have revised. If you're making your focus clearer or you're integrating more support, you have to be really clear in telling me that my, say for example, the introduction was unfocused and I wanted to clarify some of my points in introduction, and that's what you would tell me in essay 4, the cover letter. If you had to integrate support more thoroughly throughout your essay to support your problem or your solution, like for essay 3, then what paragraph did and where did you integrate, and what kind of information did you um, use to support your to increase the support in your particular draft, in your revision? Okay, how did you go about reorganizing or restructuring or reframing the essay? For example, in reframing in essay 1, the literacy narrative, did you did you narrow your timeline? All right. I'm not particularly interested in learning about grammar issues in this. I'm looking at the holistic issues that that really have been revised within your essay, and I need to see those revisions, right? So this is the second part, and the order to really do a good job on the revision portion for your 2 essays, you have actually had to really revise the essays. So otherwise, your second part of the cover letter is really going to be kind of vague and non-specific. You're going to tell me, but the idea here is to show me what you've done, the how and the why. So it is important to look through it. Just don't tell me, well, I'm gonna do this. It's kind of like what I use all the time as an example is, well, the check's in the mail, don't worry about it. Well, yeah, we have to worry about that kind of stuff. And I know it's an old saying, but it kind of equates right to the situation. I want you to show me. So one way for you to show me is to use the revision plan. Okay. This, if it's in your folder and it's completed and it's utilized, it will allow me to, number one, see exactly what you've done in your revising of essays 1, 2, or 3. It will also help you organize those items in your essay, those sections that you are revising in your, your first, your essay 1, 2, or 3. And therefore, you can take the information from this activity and integrate it into essay number 4. This is a tool, all right? Nowhere does it say that you have to upload a revision plan link. I just want to see them in your folder. They help me. Now, whether you do this or not, it's entirely up to you. There are no points attached to the revision plan. But like I mentioned in previous screencast videos, I need to see the breadcrumbs. And by that, I mean I need to know exactly what you've changed. You need to lay it out for me so that I can go back and forth between your original version and also look through your revision. And especially if you're going to upload this for a better grade, I need to be able to track that and complete the grading process, right? So, excuse me. The idea here is, and it's straightforward, look at some of my prompts here to get you thinking about your comments from the instructor and from your peer reviewers, right? Sometimes you get feedback from peer reviewers and you just don't get to it in the final draft. Look at what you did. How did the feedback help? Did you follow up on the suggestions? If not, I've had students talk about specifically, well, a student suggested, one of my peer reviewers suggested that I add more support to paragraph number 4. Well, if you didn't get to it, then that's something certainly you want to look at and revisit in your revision here for the e-portfolio. So in other words, too, what's an important question here is what would you do differently? Okay, as I've mentioned in previous videos and even in class, we're always caught up in getting the assignment done and meeting a due date along with life and work and everything like that. We always have the ability now to look back and see what we would do differently. How would you handle it? What would you write different? Would you start earlier? Not only that, but what section of that particular essay would you have an opportunity to do that do-over type situation, right? So I say here for the revision plan, select the areas of your draft that require revision based on your peer and instructor review. The areas. I'm not looking for the whole essay, right? Then complete the following. Copy and paste your selections into this revision plan GDoc. Indicate the revisions as mentioned in step 1. All right, tell me what you're going to do. Provide a revised version of the original selection, highlighting the revisions in alternate color, and I even give you the abilities. I say bold is okay. So my example here, for your peer review mentions that your introduction needs more development. So you would select the original intro, copy and paste into the new document, right here into the revision plan. Indicate how you would go about developing that issue. In other words, you want to tell me how you're going to develop that issue. Then rewrite the intro with the specific changes in a different color text. Once again, bold is okay. So then I would have the original opening, right, that appeared in your essay that your reviewers looked at and that I looked at. You would tell us exactly what you're going to add and then rewrite it that way. And not only do you have it in a revision plan, but you've worked out the how and why, the specifics to show me. Then you can just copy and paste that new introduction in this example to your revised essay, right? So that way that particular aspect of your revision is done. So I provide this example and I also give you space here and you can continue this document all the way straight through until you want to finish up, right? So maybe an introduction, and maybe a paragraph that needs some more development. It may be, your conclusion, it doesn't really conclude, and somebody might have remarked about that. Once again, I would like everybody to refrain from dealing with any type of grammatical issues. When you proof something and you prepare it for final submission, your proofing process, once you finish your revisions, should be pretty much the same as you would for any final essay assignments. You want to go through your language, check your sentence boundaries and punctuation. You want to make sure there's no typos or missing words. Sometimes you just can't rely on Google Docs for that. Those of you who have uploaded Grammarly to your browser, that's great. Make sure that you have a professional piece of writing before you upload. That goes for anything that you turn in college, all right? So this is the revision plan and how to go about using this document and the process to help you, all right, document your revisions. Once again, okay, so we have this. Once you get the revisions and the revision plans done, you've got something to write here. The purpose behind the discussion board was to get you to think more clearly and specifically and start that process of thinking about your revisions, all right, before the draft is actually due. So for, this on the discussion board, this top portion about revisions and peer review and all these holistic questions that I ask, everybody did a good job on thinking about that. That's a pretty straightforward part of the discussion boards and part of the cover letter. However, when we get to this portion, if you haven't really thought about those revisions, you've got to get on those revisions in order to write this second portion. Otherwise, your draft and your final essay are going to be really vague. And if you're not showing me about the specifics, then like all throughout the semester, I keep saying, show me, don't tell me, then it'll affect your final assessment on this particular essay assignment. So that's what I have for this week's lecture video. Here is the learning materials, right, that I've adjusted for the Google Drive. Oh, let's scroll down to the Google Drive instructions right here. All right, so they match the Canvas version, right? So we've talked about the learning materials. We've talked about the revision plan. So the idea here is for everybody to be clear on what needs to be in the folder. And I believe for this particular assignment, let's see, the peer review report, I am just looking for the GDoc link to your report only. You're going to take a website URL. Only one link is required here, and then we'll start the process for peer review. All right, so I hope this has cleared up SA4 now that everybody's had a chance to read and think about this and start writing. If you have any questions, email me. Good luck and stay safe.